Hello, hello.
Hello, hello. Yo, look, I just want to get this off my chest first and foremost. We've been kind of running around and thank everybody for joining I Stop Drinking Live. I am here with our faithful leader, our friend, and the better half. No disrespect, Anson, but the better half of the Carnival Dynasty Empire, Tamara Mohammed. How you doing, Tammy?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you so much, Devin, for having me.
Oh, thank you for coming on. I know we've been kind of trying to track each other down for a while, but I'm glad you finally could carve out some time for me.
Yeah, for sure. Anything for you.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yes. I've been listening to your podcast, so I'm a fan.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. You know what? I'm glad that you support me. I really appreciate it. I don't know how well I'm doing, but as long as you're listening, I'm happy with that.
For sure, for sure.
So let me ask you this. As somebody who's been born into the culture, someone who's been invested in the culture their entire lives, what kind of inspired you guys to get out of just kind of playing and getting into the section leader mass camp type of space?
For sure. So basically my friend and I, one of my good friends, Shivani, the two of us have been we've been playing mass since we were like 8 years old in
Hmm.
Caravana in Toronto. And I would say, so we became section leaders in 2013. So I would say the last 3 years from 2013, I guess, to 2010 and so on, we would show up to a mass camp. We've seen pieces of our costume all over a table on a Friday night, the carnival Friday night.
Yep.
And they're like, come back in an hour. And we're like, no, we're going out tonight.
Hmm.
Like carnival is not just mass on Saturday. It's a slew of events that we go to, and I'm not going to spend my Friday night waiting on somebody to get their shit together.
Hmm.
So the last 3 years that we played, we've ended up in that situation. And it was either costume pieces on the thing, and then we took it, we take all the pieces home and make the costumes ourselves. And us, Devin, we're 20 strong, playing on the road together with our families. So it's me and my friend there building everybody's costume.
Hmm.
And or the costume just doesn't fit. Something came in and a size small looks like it fits my 8-year-old daughter. Um, so like you'd have to go out that same night and buy your own pieces basically to try and make this thing look good.
Hmm.
And I think like in 2012 or 2013 actually, because I had my daughter that year. I just said, you know what, enough is enough. We literally spent our Friday night making 20 costumes. I'm like, if we could do this, we can make a section.
Yeah,
Right?
for sure.
So we came out the following year, and the band that we originally joined, I can't even remember the name of it, but they ended up folding. Actually, it was a small band, and they were like, "Oh, you know what? We're not going forward with the band. I don't know if there was a death in the family or something happened." And we were like, "Oh, okay." But like you and Kinga played mass with us that year, and it was a nice costume. So we were like, well, what are we gonna do with this costume? So my uncle who played with revelers came and he was like, no, this isn't, like, it's a nice costume where we could actually compete in the big band section rather than being in a small band. And that's how we ended up with revelers for the first few years, and then went over to nations eventually.
Okay. Well, that makes a lot of sense because we've had some moments where, we're coming from Windsor, right? So we come up there and we drive to Scarborough and we get there and it's like, your costume's not ready yet. Such and
Yeah,
such gonna be here for a couple hours. And it's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. We put all this time and all this effort into it. The least you could do is meet us halfway and have our stuff
yeah,
ready for us.
exactly.
So I know it's tough coming up with a new design every year. Something fresh, something new. I know there are a lot of design elements that, I mean, you can't help but to replicate them some years.
For
But
sure.
what is the design process involved? What's like the kind of, I know you guys probably lay out a set of ideas and you pick from that. So, can you talk about the design process, the concept process involved in creating a costume or a theme for the year?
Yeah, so what happens is the band gives us the theme,
Okay.
probably around, I would say November or so for lucky. And they'll give us the theme. We already kind of have colors in our mind of what we want. And with our specific band, we go in seniority, um, basically seniority with everyone, with the section leaders to see who gets what colors.
Hmm.
Um, but once they give us a theme and once our colors are kind of set, because they don't like to repeat the colors in our band too much with all of the sections,
Hmm.
um, I start the research. So this year we're doing Let's Go Around the World in 100 Days. We're like, okay, the band made some suggestions on places, and Singapore was one of them.
Okay.
So we did all of our research on arts and culture, clothing, fashion, even down to the makeup, dances, um, yeah, the sightseeing. Like, so basically, we formed our costume around like the merlion, which is kind of like the icon for Singapore. And Tamasak, which is the name of our section, is it was the old name for Singapore, which meant fishing, the fishing town.
Ah,
So that's where we brought in like, and the thing is, if people don't really know the the background and stuff,
yeah.
like the amount of research that we've done, like there's a reason why we put fishnet in the costume. There's a reason why the jewels are kind of shaped like scales and whatnot. We tried to do the feathers to kind of form like a lion's head for a lot of them. I couldn't do the whole lion's head thing because we're not that skilled, but um, we did what we could, and that's kind of the process that we go through for each
Mhm.
theme. It's just really digging in to the history and culture of things. And sorry, just like last year, for instance, the South African goddess that we did, like we looked into every single aspect of it and tried to put in those details in
Okay.
the costume.
See, this is why I wanted to talk to you. It's we see so little. Like I
Yes.
liken it to like being an iceberg. We just see
Yeah.
the tip. There's
Yeah.
so much more that goes on that I think we don't give you guys enough credit for because we're hitting you up. We always got these requests. We have all this stuff going on, and we don't stop and realize that you guys are trying to fine tune all these little details and get them ready for the road.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, how long does it take to put together a costume from
Um,
start to finish?
Yeah, that's a little tricky because we do each piece, like we do all the headpieces at once, then we do all the bras, then we do all. So that usually runs for like the big production,
Mhm.
for 150 to 200 people from May to August.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, over the years that you've been a section leader, what are some of the things that you picked up to make your job easier?
Um, hmm. For me, it's all about timing for everything. So I do project management at work, so kind of having those deadlines, and I don't like to stress myself out too much.
Okay.
We're trying to get things ready, so it's always having a plan A, B, C. Okay, if they ran out of the jewels we're using, what are we gonna do? I
Mhm.
always have a backup,
Okay.
but really it's a timing. Like we kind of know by now we're heading into June. Like okay, how's the costumes doing? Like how's our sales looking like? And
Mhm.
that's how you know kind of how much to project for the rest of the season.
Okay.
And you actually like you have to have all your materials in hand by the beginning of June, which is why I appreciate you and Kinga so much, because you guys are like one of the first to sign up all the time. It's perfect for us because that's what we need in order to order everything that we need to order. But our West Indian culture leaves a lot of us to sign up last minute. And so we have to plan for that. And I've been in this game for 8 to 9 years now. So I'm able to kind of project now the last minute. stuff and how much to order or whatever. And I think it does come down to that. I've seen a few people come in where they're like, oh, I'm going to do a section. My friend sews and whatever. But if you don't know how it goes, like
Mhm.
you're done for.
Yeah, it probably totally overwhelms them.
Oh, 100%. Like when the day comes when you have to deliver, the amount of panic that gets into people. And I just kind of stroll in with my boxes, my K-bag, and I'm just like ready to go. And I'm actually offering help to other people. I'm like, okay, do you need help with your production? Like, because
Okay.
I try to finish my stuff, or we, sorry, I should say my bigger team, which is my
Shout out to the
family.
team.
Yeah. We try to finish 2 weeks before
Oh
so
wow.
that if there's any curveballs that are thrown in, we have that time to actually address them.
So I guess that throws out. I had another question. I was going to ask what a typical day looks like for you leading up, but apparently you guys are done. You're just waiting for the to hit the road pretty much.
Yeah, no, well, we're never like just done. There's always curveballs that we have to hit.
Mm.
So, um, like we that week of Caravana when they have like King and Queen show and they have the fest leading up, like we go to everything, but we take turns, I guess, with the team who's staying home to pack up the boxes for the next distribution, like for the last minute things that need to go in and need to be fine tuned. So
Okay.
it's worked. It's worked the last some years. So
Okay. So what would you say some of the harder or more difficult things of being a section leader are?
um that's a hard question because it's been 8 years. I'd say for me, design is the most difficult because if you don't do a proper costume that everyone's interested in, and sales are tough, then you're kind of not doing too well in terms of we don't make a lot of money. So when you're not doing well, we literally go into the negatives very fast.
Okay.
Um, so I say that's probably sales for me is a hard work. I'm not a salesman. Like you've met me, I'm a little shy, but I'm not shy at the same time. I'm not that person to approach somebody and be like, "Hey, you need to play
Hmm.
with this section." I sit back. If you're interested, you're interested. If you're not, you're not. You know.
But that's kind of where your husband comes into play. He's
Yeah.
more of the social one.
when he's there, yes. When he's there, he's good. He's good.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I still remember the first time we
Yeah.
met. I was like, "What's up, bro?" It was like honestly, it was like I'd known him for forever. So
Yeah, no, like, and the thing is, that's how, like, our whole team is. Well, my brother and whatever, but like, and that was by coincidence that happened. But my whole family is like that, where we're personable, but we don't like to put pressure on people at the same
yeah,
time.
we got to warm you up a little bit. Once
Yeah,
you get
exactly.
warmed up, then it's like you're engaged and you're ready to go. So
Yeah, yeah.
so now I have a tougher question for you.
Hmm.
So you've listened to my Carabana is Dead episode.
Yes.
So what are some things that you would do
Hmm.
to change the overall experience?
I
Because I know you talk about it.
Yeah, I think if it was up to me, and it's not an easy task, I can tell you that,
Mhm.
because a lot of Torontonians think, and I've gotten into these arguments with people that Caravana is a public event for the public, and that everybody should be allowed to kind of jump up and because there's the whole emancipation thing behind
Mhm.
Caravana as well, which isn't supposed to be as commercialized or expensive, I would say, as what some of the bands are doing with the costumes and whatnot. Um, I guess a few things I would try to do at least at minimum because I don't think the Stormers are going to stop, to be honest.
Nah.
But there was one year that I did get to be involved at a very high level with the parade, and I think it was one of the best years ever that we had. I think it was 2017, 2016 or 2017, where we started the parade early, which is what they do in Trinidad,
Hmm.
6:30, 7 a.m. You go there, you go down the road. By the time you're on stage, it's like early o'clock
Hmm.
and whatever. So one thing is starting early. The second thing for people I would love is just easy access somehow for food, drinks, washrooms
Hmm.
for everyone.
Yes.
Um, because and also I guess the stormers come into play with that because they're not as easily accessible with all of those people mixed in everywhere.
Hmm.
But it's a tough one. It's like maybe having some, like, I know we have, like, we're looking into cool down buses and whatever else for like things, but like it sucks that you have to kind of trap yourself in somewhere with your costume when you just want to be free on the road. But
Yeah.
yeah, I would say starting early, easy access to food, water, drinks, and washrooms are important things that I would try to accommodate to my people if we could.
A few years back, there was, I guess, there was some talk about what was it? Was it the Rogers Center? They discussed having it there. Am I mistaken? They were like, we go in and everyone can kind of congregate in there, and they don't have to worry about any of the stormers. Am I wrong? Did I mishear
Yeah,
that?
I feel like that was a talk a long time ago. I don't think it was early, but if it was me, I would say yes to
Yeah.
that. Because in Trinidad, we do go through a stadium for the stage, and
Hmm.
it's actually all like security and whatnot right outside. So, like, you actually do have that time to breeze out, have your food, have your water,
Hmm.
and whatever, because you're going through this stadium for the stage. And whether it's Lamport, BMO Field, which I don't think they'd ever allow, but
No.
um, maybe Lamport, I don't know, but like in Trinidad, that's what they do. They run the big trucks and stuff through stadiums,
Okay.
North Stand, Grandstand, and they have the big stage set up there, and it's a good idea if the those places would ever allow it.
So yeah, that'd be cool. Like, I remember the first few years that I started playing, and I didn't mind the Stormers at all, but I just wanted to give us the opportunity for everyone to walk across the stage when they're full of
Yeah.
energy, when their costumes are intact. I think that's something that I don't want to say that we deserve, but I think that that's something that would be nice for the people who, because most of us aren't, one and done. A lot of
Mm.
us play every year, and we've been playing for years. And you get to a point where you want to keep playing, but you don't know if you necessarily want to keep putting up with certain
Yeah.
elements. And I noticed that people in other countries, they act totally different. They're much more respectful to the process.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I think that comes along with education in the schools as well.
Mm,
So like I use Trinidad as an example because that's where we're from and that's where our culture comes from. They do this all in the schools. They have their own little carnivals for the kids at school. They teach them what it is. They let them build the costumes at school. Like it's a whole it's part of the education during that time.
okay.
And I think that's most of the Caribbean as well because of the history behind it.
Yeah.
Whereas North America, not so much at
Yes.
all,
More of
actually.
a root
And
to tree philosophy as opposed to just, come down and go to the club and have fun.
yeah, and I think because Toronto's so multicultural, um, it's hard. It's hard for people to grasp what this is, right? Like, because people see these girls in costumes and they're like, oh,
Hello?
but they don't understand. Like, oh,
Ah,
hello?
I lost you for a second.
Okay, okay. Yeah, I was just saying they sexualize it a bit here because
Mhm.
they don't understand the culture at all and not even the music. And even like if you ever take a video, Devin, with no noise on it and watch it, you're just like, what the heck is going on here?
It's
Like,
crazy.
yeah.
No,
So looking at it from the outside, like you wouldn't understand unless you actually dug in to it.
Like sometimes, I hear guys from, from the States and other areas outside who aren't familiar with the culture, and they're like, man, the girls are this and then this. I'm like, bro, you got the wrong idea here. Like these girls, they're
Yeah.
whining for you for a couple seconds, but they're off. They are not entertaining any of that foolishness with you. So get that out of your head right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
So and
Very
yeah,
true.
even though I'm not from Trinidad, I will say that shit kind of it irks me a bit when dudes do that type of stuff. It's like, man,
Yeah.
have some respect.
Well, yeah, there's a whole movement too in Trinidad called Leave She Alone.
Mm,
That Anya Ayangchi started. And it was just based around like you can't just come and do whatever you want to girls
mm,
that are in costume. So like these days you gotta ask for permission to dance and all that, even though for us a dance is just a dance, but
yeah,
a lot of other people, if you're not from that culture, they're not seeing it that way.
yep, right. And so let me ask you something. What are some things that you want us to know as not only your customer, but the people that you're jumping up with, maybe even someone who comes across this, who's never ever played. What's one thing that you would want them to know um in terms of you, things that we may take for granted, things that we don't even realize? Like don't hit me up at 2 a.m.
That is one thing, yes.
See, so what are some things that you want us to know that can help to make the experience better for both parties?
Um, I don't know. I take a lot of things for granted because, like, I can go anywhere and play mass, and when I put a costume on, if a jewel falls off, I'll be like, okay, I'll find some glue and I'll put it back on.
Mhm,
You know, if a strap is a little loose, I'll take a needle and thread and like just fix it up a little bit.
mhm,
Um, but calling someone for like all of those little things that could be easily fixed at home, I guess it suggests like the expectations. I think sometimes too,
mhm,
coming in is just crazy. Um, I had someone who ordered a wire bra and had very high expectations for this wire bra. And they ended up in my hotel room the morning of the parade for 3 hours to try and fit it properly. And, there's only like it's because I'm a nice person and, a lot of other people wouldn't do that. But
mm.
I just wanted her to feel comfortable. So I worked with her as much as I could to try and fix it in any way. But yeah, I don't know. It's just knowing what you're ordering and then being able to adjust as you get stuff in and whatnot. Like there's a lot we can do to help, but then I think there's things on the public's side that could assist as well. And then, sorry, I think here's my biggest thing actually. If I can go back,
Oh, talk that talk.
yeah, it's the morning of when people message me which costume piece is this? Like, if I think I've started a collection of screenshots of the text messages I get in the morning, and I'm just like, what is going on with the like? I don't think you've ever come to like the distribution, but I sit there and I actually talk people through each piece of the costume, how to put it on, where to meet us, what time, you know. I talk through it, but they're not listening. They're too excited,
Mhm.
I guess, because they're getting their costume, vibes are high, whatever. And then the morning comes, it's like, which ones are arm pieces and which ones are leg pieces? And I'm like, okay,
We've been through this.
yeah. Or look at the pictures. I don't know.
like man, see, you're training people in the wrong way because
Yeah.
you're very patient with them, and they'll go to
Yeah.
another camp and they're gonna get cussed out, and they're like,
Oh,
what?
they wouldn't even answer. That's the thing. And I'll answer to a point, but I've come to a point now where if it's a question that I know they're going to end up figuring out eventually, I will not answer because that morning of the parade is actually my zen time
Hmm.
before I go on the road.
Right.
which is why I have my team go early and I come a bit later because Friday night I'm up till about 3 in the morning giving out costumes to last minute people, to people that need to exchange things, and whatnot. So that morning is my Zen morning. And when I get on the road, I get hit with everyone. So
Yeah.
and so is missing there or whatever. And I'm like, okay, here you go. Like, and but that's my time to like
Mm,
get into it. And so when I come on the road, I have that patience to deal with everything.
right. That has to be so overwhelming for you to hit the road, and you guys, it's so weird. It's like every time you guys come in, it's like we're all standing there and you just roll up, and
Yeah.
it's like everybody's just watching you, and it's like it has to be so surreal for you to see like all the work that you put in and
Yeah.
then be hit and bombarded with all this stuff.
Yeah. Well, it's not just that. Like, as soon as we get there, we know most of the people that play mass with us.
Mhm.
So, yeah, you got to say hi to everybody. Like, you don't want to forget anybody. And, like, I always try to be so, like, engaged with like, I almost know everyone's names. When we're making their costumes, like, I know these names off the top of my head. I'll be like, oh, you're so and so. Um, but yeah, it's, we've gotten into a bit of a groove though with it,
Yeah.
hopefully. So
Yeah. Well, that you know what? That's one of the best things about our section.
mhm.
It's all people who know each other every year. We may not see each other throughout the year. We may not talk, but when we see each other on the road every year, it's all love, and it's like friends who haven't seen each other for a while, and they come
Oh,
back and nothing's changed.
yeah, 1,000%.
So yeah, that's why we look forward to it. So how this year?
Hmm.
How are things shaping up this year, and what type of year are you anticipating that we have?
This year's a big year. My heart's in my stomach right now because our band launch went off with like it blasted. Like my team went on and killed it on stage, and after that, registration started coming in. And I'm like, okay. And it's like, it's actually registrations. So, yes, we have our core group,
Mhm.
but this is a whole other group that just like signed up or whatever. And I'm like, I better reach out to my people and tell them because everyone takes it for granted, right? Like, they're like, oh, it's Tammy. We'll come in or whatever. And I'm like, guys, I feel like you should register now.
Mhm.
So that's where I'm at this year with that. And I think I felt like there's 2 other years out of the 8 years I've been doing it. So I think we'll do pretty well.
Okay.
We have a truck on the road again this year, with some pretty hype people as well. So vibes are going to be totally high.
Okay. Well, I'm looking forward to it. I'm in my heart of hearts, I'm trying to make up for last year. This
Yeah.
year, I want to go and just I don't even care. Just I'm gonna be a mess.
Yeah. I think what I was saying to people too, like if you get a little tired or you know what it is, like you get tired or the crowd is overwhelming. I've done it. Okay. Where if it gets overwhelming, just
Mhm.
go somewhere and take a break. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And then come back when you're ready because we're not going too far. Once you
Right.
hit that
Right.
point, like
Yeah.
we're there.
Yeah.
Go outside, get something to eat, take a water, sit down, be like, okay, you know what? I'm ready to go back. Or
Yeah.
if you're not ready to go back, it's all good too. But you just gotta listen to your body
Mhm.
and do what's gonna be fun for you, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. Yeah. Do it. Celebrate at your own pace. That's a good one.
Exactly. Yeah.
You should put that on a T-shirt. Like also celebrate at your own pace.
Yeah, yeah. I like it.
So, where can everybody find you? What's your socials? What's the IG?
Yeah, yeah. So
All that stuff.
yeah, our most kind of social media is Instagram
Mhm.
at underscore Carnival Dynasty. We've just got onto TikTok, which is creeping up now,
Okay.
up to the Instagram at Carnival Dynasty. We're also on Facebook, not as much interaction there. But again, at Carnival Dynasty. Yeah. And of course, our costumes are on Ticket Gateway slash Temasek. That's the costume section name. Temasek. And yeah, and I'm always available through text and email as well.
There you go. Y'all heard it. So I'm telling you, for the 4 people that are gonna watch this video.
Aw, I'm putting this out there. Trust me.
Well, for anyone who watches this video and you're looking for something fun and different to do, and you don't have a lot of time and space to go all over the world, bring your ass up to Toronto and play Mass with Carnival Dynasty. You will not regret it. It's a great family atmosphere. These people, they will take care of you, and it will be nothing but love. So, Tammy, I won't keep you, but thank you for so much of your support and your love, and thank you for coming on with me and chopping it up.
Oh, thanks so much, Devin. Thanks for having me.
No problem. You're welcome anytime.
All right.
All right, have a good one.
You too. Take care.
Peace.
Bye.
So, guys, I just lost my. Did I lose my picture? I think I lost my picture. I don't know how I lost that, but let's see what I can do here. DBY. I've never done this before. But guys, sorry. I have taken off the photo. But yes, that was me chopping it up with our section leader, Tamara Mohammed. You heard where to find her, underscore Carnival Dynasty on Instagram. Go check them out. And if you're in the neighborhood, if you're in town for, I believe it's the 4th of August, please, come out, play with us. It's going to be a great time. And I will see y'all later. I have another episode coming up Friday if I stop drinking. So I started a podcast on Spotify and on Buzzsprout. So check me out. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.